being authentic in relationships.
Our group said fear.
All sorts of fear.
Yeah.
All sorts of fear of rejection,
That was ours.
fear that people won't love us, if we're really honest about what's going on, fear that can the relationship really handle it? If I would truly be true, would we even have a relationship anymore? Let's just limp it along as it is. Because I don't, I guess we're just better at faking it. A lot of insecurities, ultimately. Because once we start being true, and people challenge us. People challenge us. And then, why does that bother us, that people challenge us? Because maybe we're insecure about who we really are, and we really think we are, because then we get pushed around a little bit, and we don't like that. We feel threatened. And that has to go back to fear then.
And often the fear goes back to past experiences and lies we believe, and Satan loves that thing because if he knows there is a lie in there, he'll poke at it all the time, and he'll add to it
And there's,
Right.
till it becomes a stronghold.
absolutely, and there's hurts. If I do this, and this is what's going to happen, and it's the same old, this is the way relationships go. And then we just pull back. I think I'll just live in performance mode. And play the performance game. And we get into a performance trap. And then we actually believe our performance sometimes. That this is who I am. Until something rattles us out of that. And say, well, maybe I really don't believe that.
I was just looking at that. Relationships are basically surface. They're familiar, there's things that bring us together. And I thought, relationships, that's got ships in it. But we're two different boats. Just are kind of right along beside each other. But when the water starts to get a little rough, well, you got to separate because you don't want to be banging up against it. You can sink the boat. So you just kind of go your separate ways. You get some rough seas or something, you don't lash onto each other. You don't board the other one's boat.
Or we could get in the same boat.
That's right. But I'm just saying, it's like relationships. There's like two different vessels. They pull up beside each other. They coast along together for a while, and then, something comes in there that kind of, it's getting kind of rough.
We all get along well as long as we agree on the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't have anything to do with a great relationship. Because the only reason we're together is because we agree on the same thing. Because once we don't agree, we're separate. Do we really know each other? Have we really connected? In Luke 15, the message says, the Pharisees and the religion scholars were not pleased, not at all pleased. They growled. Jesus takes in sinners and eats meals with them, treating them like old friends. It's amazing. Jesus, who never sinned in his life, right? People that weren't following God at all could be themselves around Jesus. Could be authentic. But I don't think Jesus whitewashed truth, did he?
Nope.
Somehow, he brought out the best in them and could be authentic. Well, they could be authentic beside him. Even though they did not see eye to eye on things. How did Jesus do this? And isn't one of the basic understandings of being a follower of Jesus is that we become like Jesus. We take on his values, we take on his character. God wants us to be like that. The people that believe totally different than us can somehow, we can treat them like old friends. I like the old friends. Everybody gets along with new friends until something happens. Like an old friend. You can just pick up, an old friend, you can just pick up where you were even though you hadn't seen him for years. Young says the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. I think we live in a day and age where it's very difficult for people to even know who they are. Who are we really? Cloud and Townsend, this book that came out many years ago, the book is called Safe People. Because he calls, there are some people that are unsafe. So safe people are individuals who draw us closer to being the people God intended us to be. What we're talking about, safe people allow us to be authentic and inspire us to follow God. They are accepting, honest, and present. They help us grow just by being in our lives. Safe people. So the question is, what do they say unsafe people are? This is it's more than just this in the book. But here's three big ones that they talk about. Abandoners are unsafe people. People that you can't be yourself around. Abandoners are people who start relationships but can't finish them. Often abandoners have been abandoned themselves. And so what happens? Some are afraid of true closeness. And when you get too close, I'm out of here. It's fight or flight. Some people choose, and while others just keep looking for that perfect friend. Well, you're not that perfect friend, so I'm out of here. Even though there's no perfect friends, right?
Right.
Abandoners. Number two, the critics. People that are constantly criticized. They're not safe people. You can't be yourself around because you know they're going to criticize you. They are people who take a parental role with everyone they know, just correcting them, trying to make them right. They are judgmental, speak, quote, unquote, the truth without love, and they leave no room for grace and forgiveness. Critics. They're critical all the time. You can't be yourself. You can't be honest. You really, because you just want to stay clear, because around them you feel condemned. Hard to be authentic. And he calls the third group irresponsibles. They are people who don't take care of themselves or others. They're not very, they just, what happens? They have problems delaying gratification. They don't consider the consequences of their actions, and they don't follow through on commitments. Very hard to have a great relationship. They are.
That's right.
They're hurt. So why are people like that? I want to correct everybody else, and if everybody else, things on the outside feel good, then I'm going to be better inside. That's sort of the critic. Irresponsible, happy-go-lucky, no commitments, then I don't get hurt. The abandoners, it just hurts to get close, so I don't really want to get close. A lot of it has to do with hurt. Unsafe people. Honesty and transparency make you vulnerable. Be honest and transparent anyway. I like that. Honesty and transparency will make you vulnerable. Be transparent anyway. Once you get in your little groups again, we're gonna go a little deeper. What do I do that pushes you away from me? And what do I do that draws you towards me? What now?
Is that all right, groupies?
All right, groupies.